And this is what I mean by the naiveness of Amorim. At this point, he should be beckoning on those players to stay in shape. Because even if you get a draw from the game, it's a massive result for United considering where they are at the moment. But they kept pushing and kept pushing. Okay, Liverpool got their equalizer. United somehow got their win and their second goal and went ahead again. And that is when they now eventually learned their lesson and tried to stay compact. So, like I said, this game has exposed exactly.
Watch Strength TV right now.
Transit Sports TV back again. The biggest game of the weekend at Anfield. Liverpool 1, Manchester United 2. And this is one of the outcome of this game is one of the biggest reasons why football is the best sport out there. No matter how you think you know it, no matter how you think you can analyze it, predict it, it's always unpredictable. It is just us fans, pundits, whoever you be, you are involved in this game, that you can never script it. Nobody would have scripted this one. You can have your fears, you can have your feelings, but nobody could have predicted how this game panned out today. I know Liverpool have been in a poor run of form, losing. I think this will be their fourth or fifth consecutive loss now. Unprecedented, never happens. And especially if you think that if they're going to bounce back, it will be against the Manchester United team, though they have a little bit of form right now. But at Anfield, United being what they are right now, nobody would have said that this will be the outcome of this game. And not just the outcome in terms of result, but how the game, pound out. And we're going to try to make sense of this from how Liverpool approached the game, the energy and chemistry amongst the Liverpool players, to how United started the game and eventually how they played the game, how they won the game, the reactions, and what I would call the naiveness of Amorim. This game, for me, depicts in total terms what United issues are and what their strengths are as well, and exactly what Liverpool is struggling from at the moment. And I'm going to try to make sense of this one. First of all, I'm going to start with the energy and chemistry in Liverpool. There is something about this team right now that is not going well, and it's not technical related. I think it's more in the minds of these players. And before the season started, I said something, and I think that's what it is. That Arne Slot had a good team that was working. Maybe they didn't really have depth because they lost a few players in the summer. But when you go and sign players who, by the virtue of what they are doing in the teams they were before you came for them, had the right to start games for Liverpool, you are going to grapple with a lot of issues because the players that were there before that won this trophy are going to feel undone. And if you bring these players in and you don't play them, it's also going to cause issues. And I said it and I predicted that, and I saw we're going to find out that is man management. This is now when it's going to be put to test. Also, in the history of Premier League, you do not change up to five starters in your team and your team does well. It takes time, and sometimes teams don't come back from it. And again, Liverpool, we are known to have been doing this so many seasons before Klopp came in, and he stopped it and tried to build a steady team and add one or two players here and there. And Slot went this summer, brought in Kekes, brought in Frimpong to change it, two right backs, brought in Vades, and brought in Ekitike as well. And these players, of course Isak, and these players, by the virtue of what they have done for their teams, have the right to start for Liverpool every game. And this has created, for me, I'm looking from outside, this is what I think, I could be wrong, that this has created some level of conflict in that team. And the energy level of this team has dropped, not because they're not physically able, but because emotionally the team is not stable. And they are one step, two steps behind each other these days as the games proceed. You can see Liverpool in this game, we are second to second balls, first balls. We are missing their passes. they were not at the same wavelength with each other, missing each other's passes or putting the passes behind or in front. Mo Salah is not the Mo Salah that we know, and you could see that there is something that is going on with this team, and that is one aspect of this game that we want to talk about. And another thing is how Liverpool, Manchester United started this game. First of all, they were very compact, played a little bit on the counter, and they tried to play on a low block. This is something I've criticized Amorim for in a long time. You know where your team is, you know how good this team or how bad they are. You don't go toe to toe with teams. And starting getting into this game, they got their game, the first goal of this game, 63rd seconds. That's a minute and three seconds, which was very, very early, and helped them to settle into try to defend that. And that they did very, very well. Denied Liverpool spaces to attack them and try to hit on a counter. And that is what the natural thing to do. But as the game progressed, Manchester United allowed themselves to be pulled apart by Liverpool. And this is where what exposed the issues in Manchester United. Now, I don't think it's the system. I think the system is part of it. The way you deploy the system, which is being expansive all this while. In this case, they tried to stay compact and it helped Manchester United. But once they opened up, it was difficult for them to defend. It was difficult for them to stay in the game. Liverpool created opportunities from those situations. And Manchester United also lacked the sense of urgency to get back into defensive shape when they lose the ball. And I think this is one of the major issues that this team has had. So many times they lost the ball in transition and players were jogging reluctantly back to come and defend. And you cannot do well in EPL like this. That urgency has to be there to defend when you lose the ball, and they don't have it. Then, and it was in the course of losing that shape that Liverpool got their equalizer. Obviously, they have to make attacking changes because they were chasing the game at home, and they did that. Started putting pressure on Manchester United, but United were still trying to play expansive football, and this is what I mean by the naiveness of Amorim. At this point, he should be beckoning on those players to stay in shape. Because even if you get a draw from the game, it's a massive result for United, considering where they are at the moment. But they kept pushing and kept pushing. Okay, Liverpool got their equalizer. United somehow got their win and their second goal and went ahead again. And that is when they now eventually learned their lesson and tried to stay compact. So, like I said, this game has exposed exactly what the issues at United are. Amorim is naive. He's a good coach, but he needs to understand that this is EPL. There's a lot of physical demands and tactical battle in EPL. You have to always play these mind games and approach games in isolation. Teams are different. When you go into games, approach them differently. You don't go with the template for all the games. So this is one of the biggest take out of this team, out of this game. And second, on Liverpool part, and I still has a lot of work to do. He has a lot of work to do, and for me, it's more of mental than tactical. These players are good enough, but something is not going good in that team. And in the summer as well, I mentioned it that Liverpool players are not lasting the heck of 90 minutes in a game. They tire out, and it's showing right now. This team is not mentally. There is a chemistry, and the biggest hole in Liverpool right now is the left side of their defense. The gap always between Van Dijk and Kakes is not healthy for the team. So Arne Slot needs to fix these defensive issues. Liverpool have now conceded, I think, 15 goals this season in 8 games. If you put in all competition, I think they've played 10 games and they've conceded about 17 goals or thereabout. I'm not very sure right now. So that tells you that there is something defensively wrong for Liverpool, and Arne Slot needs to fix it quickly and quickly. So yeah, good for Arsenal this weekend. They sit pretty on top of the table, 19 points, 4 points ahead of Liverpool, 3 ahead of Manchester City, and they are cruising. If you're an Arsenal fan right now, you are happy. So it's still early days, 8 games into the season. And so let me know what you think. What do you think is the issue with Liverpool at the moment? What do you think is the issue? And do you think Amorim is on the way up? What does he need to do to sustain this new breath of air in Manchester United? Don't forget to like and share this video, and I will see you again next time. Ciao.